Why is my hair up in every video? Not today. I'm like a little hyper today. I made the best coffee ever. It's delicious. Anyway, hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Sarah. I have a fun video today. If you saw the title, this is the mid-year tag for books that I've read this year and how I feel. There's just questions we're going to be answering about all the books that I've read this year. We're going to get into if you haven't heard of it. I've never done it before, so this is the first time for both of us. I saw a few other booktubers doing this. I know that we're in July, so I don't think this is technically half. I think we're over half of the year. Like, we're past that point, but it's fine. I still wanted to do it. I wanted to check in with what I've read this year and how I've been doing and what my favorite reads are, you know, reflect, because I feel like I've been reading really well this year, like reading a lot, so that's good. Before we get started though, we're going to be talking about book of the month. My favorite, hello, over here, literally one of my favorite companies ever. You guys know if you've been here before, you get the blue book of the month box, get your book inside, literally so fun. Okay, so I have two books to talk to you guys about, and basically if you haven't heard of book of the month, they're a super popular and fast growing online book service for readers. Their mission is to promote new and emerging authors and help readers find books that they love. Their team vets hundreds of books each month and gives their readers a choice from like a curated selection of books that are new and early release titles, so you can spend less time researching, more time reading. They also have a skip policy, so you can skip any month at any time. You will not be charged. Plus, they have the best prices for hardcover fiction with my code SARACARROLLI. It'll be in the description box with the link and everything, so if you're interested, you can go down there. These are the two books that I got. I am so excited at these books. This is called Firstborn by Will Dean. Basically, this is about twins. One of them ends up dying and the other one goes back to New York. She lives in London, tries to figure out what happened, kind of like a mystery thing going on. Then I got The Bodyguard by Katherine. Look at this cover. The flowers on the side. This is so beautiful. This is a contemporary romance. You guys know I love that. I am so excited for this one. But also, Book of the Month has launched a new podcast called Virtual Book Tour, so if you're interested in listening about people talking about books and stuff, definitely check that out. Also recorded in front of a live audience in Book of the Month HQ in New York, which is super cool. So you can listen to them on Apple or Spotify, whatever you have, again in the description. And you don't just get 2 books a month, you get a choice from, there's about 5 to 7 books each month that Book of the Month you could choose from each month. So these are just the 2 that I got, but there are other titles for the month of July, which I will write out in the description. So everything that you need from this is down there. Again, you can use my code SARACARROLLI. You will get the first book for $9.99. So into the video, we're going to be doing the book tag. Why am I nervous? I don't know. I kind of like underestimated how much I was going to read this year, and I made my reading goal on Goodreads 65 books. That's a lot for me because last year I don't even think I got to 65 books. Maybe I did. I don't think I did. So I was like, I don't know. I had 100 books up there and then I thought that was like overachieving, but I read 54 of 65 books so far this year. I'm 21 books ahead of schedule, which is good for me, pat on the back, but we're gonna up my reading goal. In my mind, I want to read 100, but Goodreads says 65. I also have my reading stats that we could look at, which I feel like could be fun. The books that I've read, it only says I've read 50 books, but on this app thing or this page, it didn't read all 54. Like, it didn't say that I read 54, it says 50. I don't know. It doesn't matter. The 4 books can't make that much of a difference, right? Alright, so my mood. Emotional, lighthearted, adventurous, dark are my top 4, which is interesting because you have emotional and dark together, and then you have lighthearted and adventurous. So I have kind of like a good mix, but emotional is majority, which makes sense. I like to feel something when reading. And then the bottom ones are hopeful, relaxing, mysterious. Basically, I don't like to be relaxed when I'm reading, I guess. I like to feel things. Makes sense. Page number. Okay, so 58% is between 300 to 500 pages. I feel like I don't tend to choose books that are like a lot, and I also, I guess, don't read little books. I'm a good average. Fiction, non-fiction is funny because I literally don't read fiction books. I think I want to, but it's like I like to read fiction. No, I don't read non-fiction books. I like to read fiction because it's a whole other reality that I get to read about in other person's lives. I like to step out of my own world and go into a different one. And non-fiction, it's like I don't want to learn about anything. I just like fiction. It's what I like to read. I might try a non-fiction book this year. I feel like that's a good goal for me, but I don't know. All right, genres: romance, contemporary, young adult. That I feel like was very predictable. Short stories though, historical and crime. I'm trying to think like what, I guess maybe like a novella would be a short story. I don't know. Anyway, that kind of makes sense. All of those genres. Most read authors: Krista Becca Ritchie. I started off this year with the Addicted series. S.C. Abbey. Colleen's on there. Okay. All this makes sense. I like how it's like clicking, like with all the books that I've read so far this year, and like seeing the stats like written out. Number of books and pages. I said it before, like previous videos, like I read a lot more over the summer, so like it just makes sense that look how high the stat bar thing on this graph. I don't know how to read graphs, but like the top is the most over the summer, and it like went very low in February and March. I didn't read a lot of books. No, February and April. That was like school time, so I guess that makes sense. Average rating is 3.89. I feel like that's a good average. I'm kind of a picky rater. I don't like to just throw out 5 stars to everything. I feel like I need to to be fair to how I feel about the book, even if other people love it. Like that's their opinions. I try not to sway mine because of what other people are thinking. I like to be a picky reader. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's just how I feel about my books. I like to be honest. But that is all of my stats. Now let's get into the actual tag. I have a few for each question. I'm not gonna just name one book off. Like the first question is best book I've read so far this year. If you thought I had only one book, like my mind can't choose one, so we're gonna be talking about a couple. So let me get them out. I should have been more prepared with this. Every Summer After, I don't remember, did I give this 5 stars? I don't know, but it just gave me the best vibes. I read this so quick. You guys know I love Second Chance, Childhood Friends to Lovers, gave me Love in Other Words, gave me Summer Turned Pretty. It's a bunch of amazing books mixed into one, and I think that's why I loved it so much. I also read Love in Other Words this year, but I'm not gonna put it in the best book I've read because I've read it before. It was a reread, but this reminded me so much of it that like I loved it. I loved the characters. I felt this was like a grown-up version of Love in Other Words. I know it's hyped, but it's hyped for a good reason. Loved it. Then earlier this year I read Kiss the Sky, if you could even believe it. I was looking at what I read earlier this year and I completely forgot what I read, but this has just been my favorite from the Addicted Calorie Sisters series. This is where you got Rose and Connor for like the first time, their point of views, them getting together, things that they've gone through. They are my favorite book couple, my favorite characters. They feel like real people, like they literally feel like my friends. I'm obsessed with the both of them, and this was like the first one in their point of views, like I said, and it was just like I loved it. I still think about it all the time. I am obsessed with them, and this is like where their story kind of began. A little bit. One of my favorites from this year. And then I don't have it with me, but Darling Venom I read on my Kindle, but I did end up buying the book because I loved it that much. I've said it before, I have a reading vlog from this book. It's just like, it was more than just the romance that was involved in it. It was basically about a girl and a guy, and they were younger. They met on the rooftop for similar reasons. He ends up passing away, and then it skips to the future when she's older and she meets her old friend's older brother. They connect on his younger brother that passed, and like on a deeper level they uncover things about the younger brother, and it's just so good. But then you also get the romance between it, and it's just written so well. That was my first book by this author, and it was just like, I think about it all the time, and yeah, definitely has to be one of my favorites from this year. Those are like my top favorites. I have a few that like I really like, but those are like the ones I'll keep it precise. This question. The second question is the best sequel you've read so far in 2022, and that is the Mindfuck series by St. Abbey. I literally binged this series. Technically it's a series, but you can read it in like one full book that's like I think 700-800 pages, but each series or each book in the series is about 100 pages, a little over 100 pages, so I read it super quick because each book was super short. I also read it on my Kindle. I think they were all Kindle Unlimited, but the end of each one will leave you on the biggest cliffhanger, so like I had to like get to the next one, and it was just so good. It's a mix between thriller mystery type of thing with romance, and it was just done so well. And the main character, Lana, is a serial killer, but not like a crazy psycho serial killer. Like she has her reasonings and stuff of why she's doing what she's doing, but then she meets, not his name, but she meets him, and he is an FBI agent. He is a profiler. So they spark up this thing, and little does she know, or little does he know, that she's the serial killer of the case that he's on. And it's just like so good. It's crazy. It's just, it will keep you on your toes. I think about it daily, and I just love the characters. And it's like, you would think that they would portray Lana as like a crazy serial killer, like you would hate her, but no, you're rooting for her the whole time, which is like the best part. But I loved it like so much. And then new releases you haven't read yet but want to. I don't really have many for this one. I don't really anticipate new releases. If I see one, I'm not running to get it. When I get to it, I will. It depends on the author, what it is, but what I know or what I'm thinking for this question is Tessa Bailey's My Killer Vacation. I read It Happened One Summer by her. It was my first book by her this year, and I loved it. I used to read Hook, Line, and Sinker, but she just came out with My Killer Vacation. The cover looks really cute. The summary is really interesting. I've heard it's good. I loved her writing, so I definitely want to try that, pick it up this year, and I've heard great things about it. So most anticipated release for the second half of the year, we all know It Starts With Us, Colleen Hoover. If you don't know what that is, I just like, I'm sure you do, but It Ends With Us is Colleen's like one of her most famous viral whatever books, and it's basically a continuation or like a duet, a second in the series sequel of that. I'm pretty sure that it like continues on where It Ends With Us ended from what I've read, because she's put out little snippets of the book, and it's just like about Lily and Atlas's love story. I'm sure Ryle's in there somewhere, can't really escape him, I'm sure, but that is probably most anticipated for, I'm sure, everyone. I pre-ordered it as soon as I saw it. I cannot wait to get it. I am so excited, and it's also an excuse for me to reread It Ends With Us, so very excited. The next question was biggest surprise, and I don't know what that means exactly, but for me, I'm gonna interpret this as the book that I read that surprised me the most. And I actually didn't write something down for this, so we're gonna choose that one together. I'm gonna say, I don't want to repeat myself because I feel like I'm about to say Darling Venom again, and I really don't want to do that. I don't know what book surprised me. I would say Too Late by Colleen Hoover, but not in a good way. Should I not make this a negative answer? Yeah, maybe I shouldn't do that. Watch what I read in June to understand my feelings of Too Late by Colleen Hoover. But I would say A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime by Monica Murphy surprised me. I didn't think I was gonna like it. I actually didn't like it the first like 100 pages. I wasn't into it, but as the story got on, I ended up really loving the characters and really enjoying the storyline of what was going on. It was really focused on the two main characters and her growing as like a woman, and it's like high school romance and like a prep school kind of thing. It's like he's mean to everyone but her, but like not in a bad way, and it was just like so unexpected of what I thought it would be about, and I really ended up enjoying it. It's like a really thicker, I have the book, I don't know why I'm not showing it, but it's a thicker book, and I ended up reading this in like a day and a half. That's how much I loved it. It's also written, like the font is big and the paragraphs are separated, so like the way it was written I love. Very easy for you to like get through, or like me to get through at least, and I ended up thoroughly enjoying this more than I expected to. So that's my answer for that one. Favorite new author, debut, or new to you. So this one, there was no debut authors that I truly loved, but new to me this year was, where's my book? Shadow Me series I'm currently reading. I don't know how to say her name, I don't want to butcher it, but the author of this book, I literally am obsessed with her writing. It's young adult, so just that off the bat, it's like easy to understand and read for it being like a dystopian fantasy book, because sometimes I feel like fantasy is hard to understand and like grasp, but this is just like the way she writes it is so phenomenal. I like how in Juliet's mind, the main character, the main girl, the way her sentences like run on and the way she describes things is like unlike any other book I've read or any other writing I've read. I am like so obsessed with it, and I think that's what's helping me get through this book so much. Like I'm intrigued by her writing. I literally love the way she writes and the way that she explains things in Juliet's mind. Like I love it. And then I also wrote down Lucy's score. So she wrote Things We Never Got Over. I read this earlier this year, and I read this so quick as well, it being a thick book, because I loved the way she wrote. I loved how realistic and how like, I don't know, the dialogue between the people. The thing is, I don't like when I'm reading a book and there's less dialogue, more explanations of things. Like I need them to speak. Like I want to know their story, what they're saying. I want to learn the story and read the story through what they're saying. Like I like a lot of dialogue and less like just paragraphs of descriptions and stuff. Like just give me the dialogue. I feel like she did that, and I liked the way she wrote. I liked the conversations that she like portrayed. I don't know how to explain this one. I just like the way she wrote, and it felt very realistic. I loved the characters that she wrote about and how she described everything. Very excited to read another book by her this year. I think I'm going to pick one up because I think about her writing a lot and this book a lot, and I loved it. And right after I read it, I was in the biggest book slump because of how much I enjoyed it. And the newest fictional crush. First one, Connor Cobalt. I literally would do crazy things for this man. I love him. I don't know if it's his arrogance, I don't know, his narcissism. He is so just sure of himself, and I think that is so hot. Oh, I love him. He's just smart. He knows what he's doing. I would trust him with my life. I love him. And that's just like personality wise. Like I know he's hot. We all know he's hot. I'm obsessed with him. I love him. He is literally starting off this year strong when I read this book, and I got to get inside of Connor's head. Obsessed with him. He is my favorite. It goes Connor, then Reich, then Lauren. And then I wrote Brendan from It Happened One Summer. Where is that book? I don't know what it was about this man. This is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. She goes to the small town. He's a fisherman kind of guy. He's grumpy, but it's just like, one, he was hot. We knew that. For being grumpy, he wasn't like an asshole. He wasn't mean or anything. He was just like, that's how he was. And when he was trying to like understand his relationship with Piper, he was understanding, he was communicative, and that was like hot to me. And even just aside from that, I just loved him. I was obsessed with him. He did like such cute things for her. He was a great book boyfriend to read about. Books that made me cry. Reminders of him. I feel like every Colleen book at some point could make me cry, but this one was just, it really tugged at your heartstrings. Just because it was about a mother who's trying to get back her child, going through the hardships, about trying to get her back, but also about the father and everything that was going on. It was just like, that one really hit. So definitely reminders of him. I have a reading log of that, and I remember crying. And then also Darling Venom. I remember happy crying, but I also remember sad crying, because in the beginning someone dies, someone passes away, and you know it's coming, so it's not like a spoiler or anything, but like still, it still hits. And then also like seeing everyone, even 10 years in the future or however many years in the future when that comes, you still see grieving, and you see them uncovering things about him, just their relationship growing. Like there was parts at the end as well, like reading stuff. I just remember crying. So there were happy tears and sad tears, but I just remember vividly the tears that came from this book. Books that made me happy. Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. This one was just a happy, fluffy book. If you haven't heard of this one, it's about a football player and a best friend who's a ballerina. Pretty sure they end up fake dating and stuff, and their just relationship is so sweet and so cute. It's a very easy breezy read. I just feel like if you're ever in a mood for uplifting, like no sad trauma, I mean there's like little bits of things, but like very happy, very cute romance, and it's like closed doors, so there's like no spice in it. It's literally, it was so cute. It was not what I expected it to be, so I was very surprised by it, but also like it just made me happy. I remember closing the book and just be like, that was so cute. So that I read on my Kindle. I'm pretty sure it's Kindle Unlimited as well. This summer I turned pretty series, so I read that for the first time this year, obviously because the show came out, and I was like, okay, I guess I should read this. But that was just a really good young adult series. It was kind of like a comfort series the way it was written. Not a lot was going on, but like, you know, the essence of the story, the setting was perfect. Even if like sad things were happening in the book, it was still, the way it was written, it made me happy. I don't know how to really explain it. I think just the vibes of it and just like the essence of the whole series and the books and then the show along with it, like the whole, everything was just well rounded, made me happy. I remember finishing all the series super quick, and it was just like quick happy reads. Even though whatever happens in the book, like there's a few things that are pretty sad, it made me happy to read that series. Do you know what I mean? Most beautiful book you bought so far this year or received. I didn't know this meant book covers I thought were beautiful or writing, but I'm gonna include both. The one with you and Ether was most beautifully written book I read this year. You guys know if you've seen my like review on this and stuff. It's just the way this was written, you really get inside the characters' heads and you get to understand like their kind of like mental situation, and you get to understand that in a different way. The way it was written, you kind of have to like read between the lines to understand what was going on some of the times, and I feel like that's just like, whenever I read a book like that where it's not like point blank telling you what's going on, like it's just beautiful. And I feel like when you have to interpret things and like really read between the lines and like understand the writing and what's going on, it's just like beautiful to me. And I remember reading this, and there's some good quotes in here, and it's just like not a lot going on, but like so much going on, and you get like the slowness of his mind, and then you get like the fast pace of hers, and it just doesn't like go out and say that. She doesn't upfrontly say that. It's just really good. It's beautiful. Beautiful book. And then beautiful covers. I have The Confidence of Wildflowers Duet. Okay, so these are just beautiful to me. I absolutely love the covers because they have flowers on them, and this blue color is like beautiful. I'm actually obsessed with these covers, and I feel like it makes sense because Confidence of Wildflowers obviously, but they also talk about flowers in this book series, duet, whatever. And then I have A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime. Now this one I included because you kind of like figure out what the cover means, and I love when that happens, when like you understand a cover of a book or even just the title is like written in the book. I love that. So I included this one because I love what this is. If you've read it, you understand. If you haven't, when you do read it, if you do, you'll kind of like grasp what's going on eventually. And when I just like found that out, I kind of looked it up and I was like really intrigued by it, and I thought it was so cute. Also, if it didn't mean that, like I still love this cover. The kisses are like really cute. So yeah, this one. And then Mia Sheridan covers. Now this is another one kind of like A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime, where it's like when you understand what the covers are about, or not even, well, it's kind of a mix with Mia Sheridan. Her covers to me are just really pretty. I like them next to each other. I like looking at them. I think they are really pretty. But then also when you understand why that's on the cover, kind of clicks, makes it even more beautiful. But just like, I don't know, I really love her covers. Like this purple and pink together and the feather, I love it. And then this one, I don't know, I just love her covers. I think they're really pretty. The last question, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? Need is an understatement. Court Those Are Roses series, we know that I need to read this. Things I hear about this book, not one negative thing. Even people that say they're not fantasy readers are obsessed with it, so that's just like how I know I'm gonna probably enjoy it. I think I should read and vlog it, or I should vlog me reading it. I feel like I might as well at this point, but yeah, very excited for the series. And then I also want to read the rest of Colleen Hoover's books by the end of this year. I just want to get through all of them, especially before It Starts Supposed to come out. Like I want to be able to like know that I read all of Colleen's books. I don't have too many left. I have a few of her older ones. I have the Slam series and then the novellas between a few of the books, but I don't have like that much left. Like I could get through them pretty quickly. I want to do that, and then I also want to finish the Addicted series. I have 2 left, 2 pretty hefty ones. Long Way Down, the epilogues, I'm kind of perfect. I started this, I'm like 50 pages in. By the end of the year, I really would love to. If it ends up that I finish in December, that means that it took me a year, because I remember reading the first one like the last week of December. That's a little long, but you know what, I took my time and I don't care. So those are all the questions answered. This is my book tag completed. I'm gonna leave all the questions in the description box if any of you are interested in answering the questions, or just like for your own knowledge, want to like just look back on your year so far. Really nice to know how much I've read, my stats, looking back on how I feel about these books. I think this was very fun. I know I'm a little late into the year, but it's fine. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you did. Let me know all of your thoughts. Answer these questions in the comments. I'm excited to hear your guys' answers to these questions. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you hopefully in the next one. Bye!